What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another episode of the Premier League SPUR-SPECTIVE, which is the review show of Predict the Prem, where me and my brother go head-to-head in predicting Premier League outcomes. We do have a scoring system as well, which is 5 points for a completely correct scoreline, 1 point for a correct result, and the star man as well. Once you pick that man, you cannot pick them again, and that is 5 points for a goal, 3 points for assist, and the scores at the moment are 101 to 86 in my favour. And let's get straight into it, starting off with the 12:30 kickoff on the Saturday, which was Leicester against Man City. Finished 1-0 to Man City on the day. I went 3-1, Sim went 2-1. Everyone was expecting a bit of a Man City battering this weekend of Leicester City, but it didn't really work out that way. No Haaland this weekend to contend with, but De Bruyne gets the job done with an unbelievable free kick.
Yeah, and it was that moment of magic which was the difference between the two sides in the end. I think Leicester were pretty much soaking up pressure for a lot of it. Danny Ward had a pretty good game, to be fair, which is maybe unlike him when definitely at the beginning of the season. But that moment of magic,
Leicester have conceded 3 clean sheets in the last 4 games.
Yeah, recently they've been stepping up. They've been playing well, and they did give it a good go, especially later in the game. Couldn't quite force home a result, but Man City will just chalk that one off to a difficult away day where they got the job done, and that was it. I think obviously no Haaland was a bit of a miss. Alvarez doesn't quite have the same presence up there at the moment. He's still young, but good win for Man City, and they keep them trudging along. And yeah, what a beautiful free kick it was.
Unreal. But let's move on. Let's go to Bournemouth against Spurs. Finished 3-2 on the day. We both went 1-0 to Spurs, and it most definitely was not 1-0. Spurs went 2-0 down early in the second half and showed guts and character to get it back to 3-2 at the end, and an unbelievable game, to be honest.
Yeah, toing and froing, obviously. To come back from 2-0 down really showed good character, and to win it like we did was really important. We've become a bit of a master of the late show, recently, especially since Conte's come in. We scored a lot of late goals. Shows we fight till the end, and set pieces did it again for us, getting us the victory. So good result. Obviously, great result for us.
Yeah, so that's a point each for us on the board there, 103-88. And let's move on to Brentford against Wolves. We finished 1-1 on the day. Sim went 2-1 to Brentford. I went 2-0 to Brentford. But Wolves hung in there, and Brentford took the lead. 2 minutes later, Wolves are level. Later on in the game, Diego Costa gets sent off, so I'm not sure who they're going to play up front next game. But
yeah, already struggling with him.
Yeah, exactly. I think 1-1 was probably a fair result in this one.
Yeah, and Ruben Neves again getting on the score sheet. Fine goal he scored from outside the box, and he seems to be getting goals more regularly. I think it must be his 3rd of the season now, because I think he scored a penalty one week, and I think he scored a nice goal a few weeks before. So nice finish. Costa with a moment of madness. You always get that with him. He's always got the potential of that happening.
The problem is with Costa, right? You always had a moment of madness in the middle of some brilliance, but now you just don't have the brilliance anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
You've just got the madness.
And he had some chances to score as well, which went begging. It was actually a really nice finish from Ben Mee for the opening goal. Look, Wolves will probably see it as a good result, but still, they're, I believe, still looking for that win, aren't they? Or they got that win against Forest, but they're still very much struggling at the moment for points, and that should be a worry.
Yeah, it is a worry. I do think they're going to get dragged into it when it gets to the business end of the season, unless they strengthen in January, because they've got just nothing going forward, Wolves, and when they're not keeping clean sheets, it's going to be very hard for them to win games.
6 goals this season.
Yeah, it's really not good enough. But anyway, moving on to one of the surprises of the weekend at the Amex. Brighton 4, Chelsea 1 in Graham Potter's big return to the Amex. Got booed all game, and the Brighton fans went home very happy, putting them away 4-1. Sim went 3-0 to Chelsea. I went 2-0 to Chelsea. But how wrong were we? An unbelievable game, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think it was one of those where Chelsea were just off it from the beginning. I think in the first 5 minutes, Brighton had 2 shots cleared off the line. Thiago Silva clearing off the line, and it looked like it was only a matter of time for Brighton got the opening goal. They literally hounded and harassed Chelsea to no end. And it was one of those games where you're just off it from the first minute, and you can kind of tell that it's not going to be your day from the opening exchanges. And whether it be because of fatigue, because of midweek, or it was just disjointed, but they were all over the place, Chelsea, all over the place in this game. And maybe it's just a learning curve. Maybe
2 own goals.
Yeah, 2 own goals. But it wasn't just that. They were just all over the place, like defensively from start to finish. The chances they were conceding, they were sloppy at the back, just like so many unforced errors. It was a really bad day at the office for Chelsea. And it was a really unlike Graham Potter performance, kind of how he manages his teams. It was very not like what he's used to. So I think they'll probably just chalk that one down to just a bad day at the office, or as opposed to a symptomatic problem. Although you could argue with recent performances away from home, maybe this result's been coming for them.
Yeah, I actually think so. I mean, maybe not this extreme 4-1 away at Brighton, but I think that Chelsea have been getting away with it in the last couple of weeks. I really believe that, and I think it all came to a head here in at the Amex, and I think that Chelsea and Graham Potter need to find a way to improve their performances, because I think in the last few weeks it really hasn't been great from them.
Yeah, definitely away from home. Villa, Brentford, and now the weekend. But when Brighton point of view, first win for De Zerbi for Brighton, and what a win it was.
Unbelievable.
And they've been playing badly either. So I think this win's been coming.
Yeah, I think they've been really good under De Zerbi. I mean, they should have got the result at Anfield. They played fairly well against us. They've had other good performances in there, and he's had a hard start. Look at the games he's played, and to come in and to win 4-1 against Chelsea when your old manager, someone that did such a great job there, coming back as well. Unbelievable result, to be honest. But let's move on. Crystal Palace against Southampton, 1-0 to Palace on the day. Sim went 3-1, I went 2-1, so we both get a point each here. I thought it was going to be fairly close, or won by the odd goal, but yeah, credit to Palace for sticking in there, winning 1-0.
Yeah, it's a good result for them. Keeps them trudging along as well. It improves their home form a bit, getting that result. And Southampton had a bit of a resurgence, but that stopped in its tracks now. So not great for them. They're 17th, and they're looking like they're getting pulled into that relegation. Well, they are definitely in a relegation battle, but not far away from the relegation zone, considering Leicester improving. And Palace now into the top 10. So brilliant result for them. And they're 1 loss in 5.
Brilliant stuff there. Let's move on to St James's Park. 4-0 to Newcastle against Aston Villa. Sim went 2-1, I went 2-0. And after that brilliant performance last week for Aston Villa when they won 4-0, they came up against a very informed Newcastle side. Callum Wilson with a couple of goals to his name. Joe Linton, Almiron carrying on his sensational run. And who can beat Newcastle at the moment?
Yeah, they're playing really well. I thought it was Unai Emery's first game, but apparently he hasn't started yet. So maybe that's why they look so disjointed, Aston Villa, but they were all over the place from what I could see. It was literally one-way traffic throughout the whole game. To be fair, they did have to wait till stoppage time in the first half to get the goal, which was a definite handball, and there was a penalty which Wilson dispatched. But second half, one-way traffic.
Minute, wasn't it, of stoppage time?
Yeah, 6 minutes stoppage time, but in the first half. But second half, one-way traffic. It was all Newcastle. It was just about how many. And Miguel Almiron, I mean, what has he turned into, man? He scored another banger with his left peg outside the box into the top corner. He seems to be a weekly occurrence now, and he seems to be scoring absolute bangers every single week. And he's turned into one of the players of the season at the moment. Yeah. Unbelievable.
He really has, but I think Villa will be pretty upset about their performance. Not one shot on goal for the whole game, and it was just a complete battering, to be honest, from Newcastle. And Newcastle are going unbelievably at the moment. Best defence in the league, and now they're scoring a hatful of goals as well. So,
and you got to think as well. I mean, at the moment, do I really believe they're going to get top 4 right now? Probably not. But you look at the spending power they have, and if they're within touching distance of top 4 come January, which I think they will be. Clearly, I think they might even be in the top 4 come January.
Yeah, well, they're in the top 4 now.
Yeah, so if they can stay there and then they have few additions, then you've got to be very worried about them if you're not already.
When you've got teams around them like Chelsea, who everyone thought they'd be in the top 4 at the start of the season, if they're having results and performances like the way they're having at the moment, top 4's nowhere near nailed on. I mean, I think Newcastle can get in there. I have no reason why they can't.
Even without signing anyone?
I think obviously they're going to need to sign someone, but I think right now, as it stands, they're playing better than Chelsea. Arguably, they're playing better than Manchester United. They're playing better than us. You know what I mean? So, got to give them much credit. They don't have Europe to contend with either.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying with the spending power as well. You just got to be worried about who they're going to buy. Then
I think,
but they can massively improve their team as well.
Yeah, of course, and that's something you've got to be wary of. But even now, like without making any signings, the way that they're playing, without European football for the remainder of the season, Chelsea, Man U, and Spurs and Arsenal all have got Europe to think about, and
it's true.
And so it's going to be difficult. But let's move on to Fulham against Everton at Craven Cottage. Finished 0-0. Both of us going 1-1 there, so a point each. I didn't see much of this game, but credit to Everton. Another clean sheet for them and another draw for them.
Yeah, I think both teams will probably just take that result. Probably more disappointing for Fulham, but they stay 7th, which is a really good position for them right now. But Everton seems to be pulling away a bit from that relegation mire. Still only 3 points clear of Leicester, but they are up in 12th now and probably looking up rather than down. So very good. But wasn't exactly a great game of football. Didn't seem anyway.
Yeah, I don't think any game that Everton are in at the moment is a great game of football. But let's move on to their Merseyside rivals in Liverpool. This was the shock of the weekend as Leeds beat Liverpool 2-1 at Anfield. Sim went 4-2 to Liverpool. I went 3-1 to Liverpool. And I've been talking in this show about Liverpool saying, yeah, they haven't been great this season, but they've always been pulling through at Anfield. Well, this is the first sign of them. I think this is the first game that they've lost at Anfield this season against a Leeds side who haven't been great all season, but a great performance from them. Rodrigo back on the score sheet. Salah equalises early on in the first half, and you're thinking, all right, Liverpool just going to come back and win this one. But credit to Leeds, they hung in there, created chances, and they got that goal in the last minute of the game.
Yeah, what an unbelievable result for Leeds, which they needed badly, considering the results that Jesse March has been getting of late. And I did think it was harsh to a lot of the results. I thought they were playing a lot better than the results they were getting. And I'm not saying a result maybe away Liverpool was coming, but definitely they were due a result, and they got a bit of luck in this one because, look, don't doubt about it, they played well and were a threat on the counter, but Liverpool pillared them for a lot of that second half. And Meslier was absolutely fantastic. What an unbelievable performance it was from him. It seemed to like have a personal battle with him and Nunes throughout that whole second half. He saved a couple of one-on-ones. There was one 25-yarder heading right for the top corner, which he clawed out of the air. And it was literally a minute before Leeds went on and scored the winner. He had made a string of brilliant saves to keep the score level, and then obviously Leeds went and hit the sucker punch. Brilliant finish by Somerville, but Liverpool just look off it at the back at the moment. They just don't. Van Dijk, I mean, that goal doesn't happen 2 years ago. That goal, the Somerville goal, he gets right in Somerville's face and he clears the ball and he outmuscles him, but he was standoffish. He allowed Somerville to get the shot on goal, and they paid for it. And as well, look at the goal they scored in the first minute. Leeds just sloppy from Liverpool. Gomez not looking around, just plays a blind ball across the face of goal, and Rodrigo taps in the empty net. And at the moment, at the back, they're all at sea. However, what I would say about Liverpool is going forward, they still created plenty of chances, and it wasn't due to the fact that they couldn't create any chances why they didn't win. It was just Meslier was in brilliant form, and it was wayward finishing. So I think going forward, they're still obviously still there, but at the back, they're just all over the place.
And is the 7-year curse a thing with the Jurgen Klopp? I mean, it's starting to seem like it now, doesn't it?
Maybe. Look, I wouldn't rule them out of the cup competitions. You know what I mean? Like, even if they're doing badly in the league, you never know what they can muster up in Champions League and stuff like that. So, you wouldn't say it's a 7-year curse if they win the Champions League and finish mid-table. But at the moment, look, they're 9th and 8 points away now from top 4, although they do have a game in hand. We're 10 points clear of them. I mean, it's top 4 is getting further and further away at the moment, which must be very worrying if you're a Liverpool fan.
And after that performance, I'm seeing a lot of fans on Twitter clamouring for Meslier to come in and replace Lloris at some stage at the end of the season. We have been linked with him in the past, and we've kind of said before like we'd be interested in him, and that performance definitely puts another tick to his name, doesn't it?
Yeah, that was a kind of Hugo Lloris-esque performance as well, like just the sheer saves he was making, and his shot stopping ability. Young
Hugo.
Yeah, that was definitely a performance to sit up and take notice of.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Arsenal against Nottingham Forest, 5-0 to Arsenal. Both of us going 3-0 to Arsenal. And, Bukayo Saka goes off injured fairly early. And you're thinking, maybe they're going to be lacking going forward a little bit. But Reece Nelson comes in, scores 2 goals, 1 assist, and they didn't even miss Saka at all in this game. But it was against the Nottingham Forest side, who were absolutely terrible on the day. They did have a couple of chances at 1-0 to Arsenal, but it wasn't to be, and Arsenal just battered them at the end of the day.
Yeah, you can see why they're rooted to the bottom of the table yesterday, can't you? Especially when a few goals goes against them, they seem to really fold and have a massive loss of confidence and pretty much give up. But first half, Arsenal took the lead after 4 minutes, and it looked like it was going to be a rout. But Forest did come into it later in that first half, and Arsenal started to look a bit shaky. Gabriel passed the ball straight to Lingard inside the box, and he had a chance to score, which was a good block by Ben White, and they had another chance from a set piece to equalise. They didn't take either of them, but they went in the second half a bit of confidence. But once the second half came in, it was all Arsenal. They got an early goal in the second half, and it was pretty much one-way traffic from then on, and it was a routine victory. They will give them a lot of confidence that they're able to score so many goals without Saka as well. Jesus also getting 3 assists, so a good day for Arsenal. To be fair, home win, 5-0, nothing too much to complain about for them.
And the last game of the weekend, Manchester United against West Ham, 1-0 to Man United. Both of us predicted 1-0 to Man United, so we both get 5 points there. And yeah, Marcus Rashford getting on the score sheet on the back of a lovely cross from Christian Eriksen. I think West Ham were huffing and puffing, but it's a bit similar to previous performances of West Ham against the big sides. Against Liverpool, it was fairly similar as well. It's like they play well, they just can't get a goal.
Yeah, they'll definitely feel a bit unlucky, especially how they ended the game. Last 20 minutes, De Gea was absolutely fantastic with some brilliant saves, especially from Zuma.
Man of the match.
He was brilliant in the last bit of the game, De Gea. He really did win them 3 points. I think United deserved to take the lead in the first half. They were the ones making the runnings, and the chances, and Rashford was looking dangerous. But second half, they were, I don't know whether maybe it was a bit of fatigue from midweek or something, but they dropped off massively, and West Ham grew back into it. But definitely they left it a bit late to really have a go, but they did have a go right at the end. And I think it was one of the last kicks of the game. Declan Rice has an absolute belter from about 30 yards, and it was heading right for the top corner if it wasn't for another brilliant save from De Gea. So from West Ham's point of view, they'll feel a bit aggrieved they didn't get the goal, but from Man United's point of view, it was they dug deep to get the victory, and they probably deserved to be in the lead, and they got all 3 points, and keeps them unbeaten. I mean, obviously it would have been a draw, but that's unbeaten in 5, 3 wins out of 5 for them. So decent form now for Ten Hag's team.
What do you think about Man United and the top 4 race? How are you looking at it?
I still they're looking good in terms of they keep trudging along. I still think that they look a bit too inconsistent in terms of a lot of their controlling games, but they are doing well, and when they look good, they look really good, like they did against us. But whether they'll have the consistency through a long season to keep going to get in the top 4, still question marks, but they're going well at the moment. They're going through a good spell, but especially it's his first season, so you expect a bit of inconsistency.
The thing is, though, like, you have those question marks about us, you have those question marks about Chelsea now, you've got those question marks against Man U, so it's going to be an interesting race, isn't it? I mean, even Newcastle are going to be there, so it's going to be very interesting this race.
It will be. It's going to be very close, and it's as well, January and the World Cup, a lot of it's going to depend on if there are going to be injuries, who's going to improve their team in January as well, who can find that rhythm that maybe they've been lacking this season. So many different things there's so many different things that go into it. So you can't make too many. It's just way too early in the season to make too many sweeping statements.
Yeah, I completely agree. But let's move on to the Star men. Sim went for Wilfred Zaha. Crystal Palace did win 1-0, but Zaha did not score or assist. And I went for Darwin Nunez, who lost obviously 2-1 at home to Leeds, and he definitely should have got a goal.
He had about 3 clear-cut chances, yeah.
But it wasn't to be. We finish this week on 112 to me, 97 to Sim. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Let us know your thoughts on the Predict the Prem this week in the comment section below. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always,
come on you Spurs.